Mian stood before the Sioux estate's towering gates. She peered at the butler, asking, "Does Sioux lynching live here?" The butler frowned. "It is, child, but you mustn't address our great master so casually. Address him as Grandpa Sioux." Mian shook her head. "I cannot. That would ruin the family lineage. I am his aunt." The butler's smile died. He moved to shoo the little girl away. Suddenly, a boy charged forward, shoving her hard. "Beat it, you filthy little beggar!" Mian saw a rich woman approaching. "Do your job," she told the butler, tossing him an invite. "Keep the trash out." This was Lin Mei, sister to the eldest Sioux brother's lover. With a respectful bow, the butler welcomed them inside. The boy taunted Mian with a rude face. She barked once and bit him right back. He wailed in agony. The woman raised her hand to strike, but a cold voice intervened. "Who dares cause trouble at my gates?" It was Su Chenfei, the 7th young master. "Young Master 7, you have returned," the butler stammered. He glared at the tiny toddler. "Who is this?" Mian waddled over. "Greetings, my grandnephew." Chenfei froze. He bent down, eyes wide. "What?" "I am your grand aunt," she chirped. Mian pulled a registry and a jade pendant from her bag. "Here is my proof," he gasped. It was exactly like the jade his father kept locked in the safe. He snatched the girl up and marched directly into the mansion. Guests whispered about secret daughters and mocked him. Chenfei ignored it, but Mian was fuming. She flicked her wrist, launching a talisman. It smacked right onto the loudest man's forehead. He tripped instantly, losing his front teeth. Mian giggled at the sight. "This villain curse works! Grandnephew, I have punished these rude gossipers for you." Skeptical yet amused, Chenfa carried her toward Old Master Su's private study. His father began a lecture. Ignoring the noise, Chenfei set Mian onto the desk. The old master marveled at her. Such elegance. Truly a child of our bloodline. "So precious. Come here, little one. I am your grandpa." "Say grandpa for a gift." Mian waved her hands. "No." "Hello, my dear nephew. I am Auntie Mian. The old master kicked Chenfa. "What nonsense did you teach her?" "I am innocent," Chenfa wailed. "She has your jade and claims she is your aunt." Realization hit the old man. He GJ'd the jade, his eyes nearly popping out. "This belonged to my granduncle. Could she really be the one?" It seemed impossible for his 73-year-old uncle. He opened her letter, trembling. It revealed Mian's family was trapped in a deep sleep, a truth she didn't know. It begged the Sioux to protect her while she gathered divine karma and faith. Only then could her kin wake. Looking at Mian, the old man's heart broke. He vowed to protect his little aunt. He bowed deeply. "Nephew pays his respects." Mian pulled ancient ginseng from her backpack. "A gift for my dear nephew's birthday." Overwhelmed with emotion, the patriarch accepted the legendary treasure. Suddenly, Mian's eyes narrowed at his beads. "That bracelet reeks of dark, resentful energy. This causes your sleepless nights." He tore the beads off and handed them to her. He glared at the stunned Chenfei and delivered a sharp kick. "Kneel and honor your grand aunt." Chenfei was forced onto the floor. "Greetings, grand aunt," Mian beamed, tossing him a strand of the divine ginseng too. Seeing his aunt's dusty clothes, the patriarch hurried to prepare a royal bath. Suddenly, Mian's nose twitched, and she let out a tiny sneeze. Maids rushed to her side, but Mian giggled. "Someone must be gossiping about me." "Auntie, please accept my humble respects," old Mistress Su announced, bowing deeply. Mian offered an exquisite jade bracelet, leaving the stunned elder speechless with joy. "I'm simply captivated by your adorable charm," the matriarch gushed, clutching her heart. Sweeping Mian toward the dressing room, the young girl's eyes sparkled at the luxury. "Do I look like a pretty princess?" Mian asked, twirling in her frilly gown. "You are breathtaking," she praised, as the grand banquet finally commenced with elegance. "Meet Chenjing, your grandnephew, the cold-hearted titan who controls the Su family empire." Mian studied him, sensing a dark, heavy exhaustion cling to his weary soul. "Those are the Lin sisters, scheming women you must surely avoid," she whispered. Chen Jing is bewitched by Lin Ru, though the feast must now begin. But first, the old master had a shocking revelation for the gathered guests. Lin Ru expected an engagement, but he spoke only of his beloved little aunt. Jealousy flared as Lin Mei rudely interrupted, shattering the banquet's sophisticated atmosphere. Outsiders have no place here, the patriarch growled, leaving her humiliated and stammering. But uncle, isn't that child just some illegitimate brat from the side branch? Silence. She is our honored aunt, the highest elder of our entire bloodline. The green tea sisters froze as security closed in. Lin Ru begged for mercy. Father, it's your birthday. Please, let this matter rest for today, Chen Jing pleaded. Mian peered closer, seeing his fate tangled in a chaotic web of dark energy. Awakening her spiritual vision, she saw a jet-black thread binding him to Lin Ru. Realizing the connection was a cursed rot, Mian vowed to save her grandnephew. With one swift flick, her peachwood blade severed the sinister bond of fate. Suddenly, the heavy fog lifted, and Chen Jing's absurd obsession vanished like a dream. Handing him a sacred ginseng root, Mian took her seat of highest honor. Silence fell over the hall as the clan waited for Mian's first bite. As the highest-ranking elder, the etiquette of the feast began solely with her. "Children, eat your fill," she announced with adorable village-style authority. While the family cheered, a desperate Lin Ru demanded answers about their failed engagement. The engagement? "I've decided to reevaluate our entire relationship," he stated coldly. "You forced my hand," she hissed, clutching her cursed, magical red bracelet. Suddenly, the chandelier flickered and died, plunging the hall into a terrifying darkness. Chen Jing ascended the stage like a puppet, his voice sounding hollow and strange. Mian saw the horror. A vengeful, mischievous ghost was currently possessing her grandnephew. "Hold on, nephew! Your great-aunt is coming to the rescue right now!" Lin Ru's scheme shattered as Mian snatched the spectral black thread from the air. When she tried to interfere, Chen Fei's iron grip stopped her mid-stride. "You dare touch our honored aunt?" he roared at the trembling, panicked woman. "Check the security cameras. Your lies won't save you this time, Lin Ru." Mian yanked the spirit out, and Chen Jing's sanity finally returned with a glare. "Throw her out," he commanded, as the villainess collapsed in a heap of defeat. "Why were you hiding in my nephew's body?" Mian asked the squirming spirit. Terrified of her power, the ghost confessed that Lin Ru had masterminded everything. "Don't let it flee," Chen Jing ordered sternly. "Seal this monster away forever." Mian balled the ghost up and stuffed the sealed talisman into her pouch. With her mission complete, Mian prepared to depart, leaving the Su family heartbroken. The secret letter was clear. Never let Auntie leave. Old Master Su cleared his throat loudly. "Auntie, what about the ghost you promised to catch?" He signaled his family with a desperate look. Catching on, they all chimed in. "Right! We'll be too scared to come home without you." Mian's spirit soared. Brandishing her tiny compass, she began her energetic patrol of the mansion. But the needle wouldn't budge. Soon, the little exorcist was swaying on her feet from exhaustion. Master Su caught her quickly, tucking his precious aunt safely into bed. While the family admired her sleeping face, a tiny, pained voice cried out, "Daddy! Mommy! Wake up!" They rushed to her side, finding the toddler frowning in a deep, troubled dream. In her dream, Mian stood on a misty mountain where her parents lay in eternal slumber. Near tears, she remembered her mother's advice. Seek the family's sacred pillar in times of trouble. Mian raced outside, scraping her knee in her desperate haste to reach the pillar. Ignoring the pain, she prayed fervently. A divine light exploded, revealing a young couple before her. "Mommy! Daddy!" Mian sobbed. "Why are you spirits?" Their eyes brimmed with heartbreaking sorrow. "This is only temporary. Fill this bottle with good deeds, and we can return to you." Mian took the bottle, promising to fill it with her every good deed. As her parents faded, Mian woke with a start. The panicked Su family immediately surrounded her. Mian pulled a tiny turtle from her bag. It crawled toward Su Chenfa's feet. She asked if he needed help. He nodded, dazed. "I'm on a reality show. Come with me?" Old Master Su's mustache bristled with fury at the suggestion, but Mian's eyes sparkled. "I want to go." 1 week later, the cameras began rolling. The lens peeked into a pink paradise where the duo lay fast asleep in peaceful harmony. The live chat exploded. Su Chen-fei is still in bed. What a total loser. Old Mistress Su stormed in. Number 7, wake up. The world is watching. He slept on. Mian blinked. Good morning, niece-in-law, she chirped with a sweet, groggy smile. Remembering the show, Mian scrambled up and waved. Hello, everyone. I'm Su Mian. She stopped the mistress. Wait! A ghost frightened poor grandnephew last night. Let him rest. But the broadcast has started. Mian nodded seriously. Then we must wake him now. Without hesitation, the mistress delivered a sharp, resounding smack to her son's backside. He shrieked, then spotted the camera. His face instantly melted into a charming, greasy, idle smile. Good morning, my darlings! Morning, little grandaunt, he whispered, gently ruffling her hair and ruining his own cool pose. Time for hygiene, 7th grandnephew, Mian reminded him in her tiny, authoritative voice. He hoisted her onto his shoulders. Off we fly to the bathroom, then. Inside, Su Chen-fei expertly prepared her toothbrush with the care of a devoted servant. Mian patted his head like a wise elder. Good boy. Then he reached for her cream. Suddenly, a roar shattered the peace. Number 7! What are you doing to her? Old Master Su stormed in, aiming a fierce kick at his wayward son's shin. He turned to Mian, pouting. Auntie, Monday is for the special cream I bought you. Obediently, Mian applied a second layer of cream, making the old man beam with pride. He left satisfied, leaving the internet comments in a state of absolute chaotic adoration. I want to kidnap her! During the interview, a staffer asked about her relationship to Su. Mian leaned in. I'm the grandaunt, and he's my clumsy 7th grandnephew. This bizarre family tree baffled the entire internet. When asked of her parents, her eyes grew misty. They're sleeping until I finish my mission. Suddenly, Mian turned to the staff member with an urgent, wide-eyed expression. Sir, stop your son immediately. Hearing he lacked a phone, she urged him to contact the boy's mother. Just as the line connected, a bone-chilling crash echoed through the receiver. Her divine warning saved them both. Fate rewarded the staffer for rescuing a student days prior. Mian Mian whispered it was the fruit of his own virtuous karma. This mystical display sent the stream's popularity skyrocketing past every record. The director begged to make her the star, but Mian Mian firmly declined. Fate only smiles upon those we are destined to meet. Destiny cannot be forced. Suddenly, she pulled a small jade bottle from her bag. A glowing droplet had materialized inside, a sign of her growing merit, / Her eyes sparkled with joy. Chasing that momentum, she tossed 3 ancient coins onto the floor. Reading the patterns, she announced, I will grant 3 fortunes today for $888. How do you choose these destined souls? The staffer asked eagerly. Mian Mian tilted her head, pointing at the director with a playful wink. The one pulling the strings. Laughing, the director signaled to pick 2 lucky fans from the live audience. With a tap, 2 usernames flashed. Meow 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 and a hater's ID. Su Chen-fei, quit the industry! / Mian Mian frowned. Why do they hate my 7th grandnephew? Su Chen-fei sighed, never expecting to draw one of his own anti-fans. Then, Meow 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 connected. The fans sobbed about her missing cat, so Mian Mian began a divine calculation. Check the 3rd house to your left, Mian Mian commanded. The neighbor lied until the police were mentioned. Then the cat was returned, / next person. Tell me about my brother, a girl said with a devious smirk. She was lying. Mian Mian didn't blink. Your brother is suffering, / you just saw him at the tea shop. He was kidnapped at age 6. The girl's face went pale with shock. Trembling, she called home. Mom, do I really have a brother? Silence fell. How did you know? Did your memories finally return? Before departing, our little ancestor gifted everyone a sacred, protective talisman. Su Chen-fei boasted about protecting his aunt, but no one spared him a glance. Everyone swarmed Mian Mian with tearful goodbyes as she waved a tiny, graceful hand. At the airport, Su Chenfei spotted the actor Chinta and went to say hello. Mian Mian's eyes narrowed at Chinta's red bracelet. It reeked of the same dark aura. Chinta smirked, trying to spark rumors. Is this your secret daughter? Su Chenfei blocked him instantly. She's my actual, literal grand aunt. Chinta blinked in confusion. A grand aunt? I never would have guessed. He pushed a young boy forward. Meet my brother, Aha. We have a gift. Mian Mian offered a return gift, but the viewers weren't impressed by the simple wood. The wealthy Su family gave a piece of trash, the comments jeered. Chinta gloated internally, thinking he had finally humiliated his rival. Suddenly, the wood clicked and transformed into a mechanical bird, taking flight. Every jaw in the room hit the floor in pure disbelief. It can become a fish too, she chirped. Slash. The internet went absolutely wild. Those haters calling it scrapwood look like fools now, the fans screamed. Seeing the kids play, Su Chenfei grew jealous and began to whine like a baby. Grand Auntie, I want a toy too, he grinned like a total goof. Mian Mian huffed, hands on her hips. You're lying. I'll cry if I don't get one, Su Chenfei pleaded, but Aha exposed him. Lying is for bad kids, grandnephew, she lectured with adorable authority. Su Chenfei quickly lowered his gaze, his pride vanishing as he admitted his blunder. The top star's total defeat by a toddler went viral, while Chinta seethed with envy in the shadows. He secretly summoned his dark spirit, plotting to siphon Su Chenfei's luck and ruin his shining career. Screen goddess Liu arrived with little Yu Yu. Chinta immediately began his shameless, sycophantic flattery. Su Chenfei remained detached, his entire world centered on his humble wooden toy. Mian Mian scolded his rudeness before charming Liu with a voice as sweet as honey. She presented rare jade beads, a peace offering for her nephew's clumsy lack of manners. Stunned, Liu questioned their relation. Chinta instantly clawed for a moment of desperate screen time. This is the grand aunt! He introduced, while Yu Yu trembled like a delicate, trapped fawn. My daughter is painfully shy, Liu explained, with a gentle, worried smile. Surprisingly, Mian Mian's warmth began to melt Yu Yu's icy walls in a truly magical way. Yu Yu's eyes were locked onto Mian Mian's ethereal, glowing blue butterfly hairpin. Viewers gasped. It was a legendary imperial treasure made for an ancient, beloved princess. With a tiny, breathless gasp, Yu Yu whispered a single word. Pretty. Mian Mian gifted it instantly. Liu froze, terrified to accept such a priceless artifact. I have warehouses full of these, Mian Mian insisted, already adoring her new little friend. Humbled, Liu accepted, vowing to return the favor with an equally grand gesture. Next came the pink butterflies, a charm no little girl's heart could ever resist. Yu Yu was mesmerized. Don't be greedy, Liu warned. But Mian Mian's eyes sparked with inspiration. She split the colors, ensuring they both shared a matching symbol of their bond. Eager to twin, Mian Mian commanded Su Chenfei to assist with her precious clip. His steady hands worked gently, making the little princess look absolutely enchanting. Boarding time! Mian Mian ditched her nephew, hopping toward Yu Yu like a joyful rabbit. You're a big boy now, grandnephew. I'm going with my new best friend. Su Chenfei watched them, sighing with a bittersweet smile. Totally abandoned already. On the plane, the two girls were inseparable, bonded by their shared childhood secrets. Eager to brag, Su Chenfei snapped photos of his adorable elder for the family. Liu asked to swap seats, but Su Chenfei wasn't ready to surrender his spot. I'm a childcare professional, he insisted, though Yu Yu still watched him with fear. I just want to stay beside my grand aunt, he pouted, reclaiming his seat firmly. Grandnephew, be good and move. Su Chenfei's heart shattered at her stern command. My grand aunt doesn't love me, he wailed, dramatic tears flowing like a river. Mian Mian was speechless. How could a grown man be such a massive crybaby? She relented, and Yu Yu agreed. Liu watched the chaotic chemistry with growing wonder. He's actually quite kind, she mused, reflecting on their cold, strained history. Years ago, they were peers, and Su Chenfei was the most diligent rookie on set. Then, a dark scandal hit. Rumors of him striking a starlet destroyed his reputation. Liu offered guidance, but he'd exploded with uncharacteristic fiery rage at her. Amidst the standoff, Chinta had conveniently appeared to play the perfect, smooth mediator. Looking back, Chinta's timing was suspicious. Something smelled like a calculated trap. As doubt bloomed, a heartwarming scene suddenly stopped Liu in her tracks. Su Chenfei sat with a fatherly glow. The two toddlers nestled sweetly in his lap. That radiating gentleness was enough to turn any cold hater into a loyal fan. Meanwhile, Chinta seethed, waiting for his dark ghost to swallow Su Chenfei's light. An hour later, they landed and boarded the bus, the real adventure beginning. A child's wails filled the air as a woman led a young boy aboard. "Be good, Zizi," she coaxed. "Look at all the friends you can play with." The boy scanned the bus, and his eyes locked onto the adorable Mian Mian. "I want that!" he shouted, lunging toward her delicate butterfly hairpin. Thinking he just admired it, kind-hearted Mian Mian reached up to share her treasure. Suddenly, the brat yanked it away, tearing out strands of her hair. "Why would you do that?" she sobbed. The boy just sneered. "Try hitting me." Su Chenfei lunged with lightning speed. He hoisted the brat by his collar like a chick. "Apologize to my grand aunt," the mother scoffed. "They're just kids. They should settle this themselves." Seeing Mian Mian's tears, Su Chenfei's rage burned like a wildfire. "No, he will apologize now." Qintao intervened, so Su Chenfei set the boy down to comfort his sobbing aunt. "It's okay, Grand. I'll make that brat apologize." Mian Mian clutched her sore scalp, trembling. "Grandnephew, will I go bald?" Su Chenfei chuckled. "No, we'll just eat black sesame to grow it back." Wiping her tears, Mian Mian demanded an apology, but the boy only sneered. "I'm not apologizing to a weirdo," Mian Mian warned him, but his mother tried to buy her off with cash. "I'll pay you, just drop it." She waved her hand. "What's the big deal?" Su Chenfei nearly erupted, but Mian Mian, radiating an imposing aura, stopped him. She glared with tiny, fierce eyes. "Money won't fix his heart." "He's wrong." The mother froze, her face flushing crimson with shame. "Apologize now or she'll hit you," she barked. But the boy remained silent. Giving up, the mother told Mian Mian to handle it as she saw fit. Mian Mian grabbed a fistful of his hair and gave a sharp tug. Shocked by the pain, the boy watched as Mian Mian calmly compared the hairs. "See? Exactly the same amount. Now we're perfectly even, Zizi." The boy let out a soul-shattering wail that echoed through the entire bus. "Keep crying and I'll hit you," she warned. But he only wailed louder. Mian Mian's knuckles cracked. The boy's screams reached a fever pitch. Mian Mian began a series of sharp, military-style warm-up punches. Leaning in, she unleashed a mighty lion's roar into the brat's ear. "You're just a big bully," he whimpered, playing the victim. After 1 minute and 8 seconds, the boy finally broke. Mian Mian tilted her chin up. "You have the right to cry, I roar." Noticing the silent crowd, she bowed gracefully. "Sorry for the noise, everyone." Lu Hoi stood up. "You're just teaching a junior respect. We don't mind." Yu Yu watched Mian Mian, once again captivated by her bold spirit. "Well, the silence is golden now," Qintao joked as Su Chenfei laughed. Always polite, Mian Mian checked on the filming crew and the director. "It's no problem at all, Grand Aunt." Finally, Mian Mian offered the hairpin. "We can share it, if you want." Flushed and shy, the boy mumbled about hating butterflies before fleeing away. The mother stood frozen, unable to believe the conflict ended so easily. Suddenly, the final pair of ordinary guests arrived. Two brothers named Cui and Chuya. An oppressive aura surrounded the siblings, plunging the entire bus into a sudden, chilling silence. "Move out!" the director barked. Following the one adult per child rule, clingy Yu Yu desperately gripped Mian Mian's hand. Mian Mian whispered softly, "We must obey." The director said only one adult for each child. "We'll play once we arrive." Despite her disappointment, Yu Yu nodded with sweet, bittersweet obedience. Adoring her sweetness, Mian Mian planted a tender kiss on Yu Yu's cheek. Su Chenfei froze, utterly thunderstruck. "Heavens! My great-aunt has never even graced me with a single kiss. Su Chenfa begged for affection, but Mian Mian heartlessly declined. Pouting failed, so he unleashed a waterfall of tears. Moved by his pitiful performance, Mian Mian surrendered and granted him a lightning-fast peck. Su Chenfei then winked playfully at the lens, gloating over the kiss from his beloved aunt. Watching the stream, old Mr. and Mrs. Su were shaking with envy. Soon, the group reached the site. The bus could go no further, forcing them to finish the journey on foot. A staffer handed over a map and brief notes before speeding away on a small tricycle. Why fear? Just follow the map. Yet the map was a chaotic scribble, leaving Su Chenfei baffled. He noticed Mian Mian and Yu Yu studying the drawings with intense, serious focus, discussing every detail. Qintao, we follow my great-aunt's lead. Qintao disagreed, choosing to follow the tricycle's dusty tracks. Eventually, they split. Shui and Zazi followed Qintao, while Liu He naturally stayed with Mian Mian. As without a word, the younger brother walked straight to Mian Mian's side. Su Chenfo waved a dramatic goodbye. Let's go! A wicked grin crossed Qintao's lips, certain his ghost powers would lead them astray. Meanwhile, Mian Mian's group ventured off in the complete opposite direction, toward the unknown. Suddenly, the two girls raced over and squatted down, their eyes sparkling at the fluffy, golden creatures. The tiny birds flocked to Mian Mian, sensing her pure soul. One even nestled into her palm. Can I pet it? Yu Yu asked longingly. The viewers went wild over the heart-meltingly cute scene. Seeing their joy, the old man offered the chicks as a gift. Liu He quickly declined. We can't just take them, sir. We cannot care for them during filming. Yu Yu sadly let go. Seeing the girl's heartbreak, Mian Mian vowed to Liu He that she would protect the little creatures. Gratefully, Mian Mian gifted the man a sacred, life-saving pill, a priceless family heirloom from her clan. The old man chuckled, accepting the gift while thinking the sweet girl was just offering candy. Now they faced a dilemma. Where to keep the chicks? They had no proper containers for them. Just then, Chuya approached and handed 2 small paper baskets to the delighted young girls. Thank you, big brother. You're so kind. At her praise, Chuya's face flushed a deep crimson. Panic surged through Su Chenfa. Is a new great-uncle about to enter the family tree? Fuming at Chuya's attentiveness toward Mian Mian, Su Chenfa glared. But the boy completely ignored his rage. Mian Mian led the way through the village. Suddenly, she shouted, "It is just ahead!" Doubts flooded the chat. Yet Mian Mian silenced them all by finding a charming, rustic villa. She knocked lightly. A man and his son appeared. I am Li Gao, the father introduced. My son drew that map. I'm amazed you read it. He warmly invited them onto his truck. Su Chenfei easily hoisted the girls up, but Liu He struggled to climb onto the high vehicle. Seeing her plight, Su Chenfei offered his hand. With his strength, Liu finally made it up. The mountain path was rocky, yet the girls found it more thrilling than riding a flying sword. Mid-drive, they suddenly stumbled upon Qintao's group wandering aimlessly along the dusty road. Drivi's eyes sparkled with hope, but the driver strictly obeyed the rules. Su Chenfa offered his silent support. The truck vanished into dust, leaving them behind. Qinta's fury boiled, doubting his cursed bracelet's power. The stream returned to the truck. Exhausted from their journey, the 2 little angels had drifted into slumber. Worried his young grand-aunt might catch a chill, Su Chenfa tenderly draped his jacket over her shoulders. He then softly asked Lu Hoi to pass over little Yu Yu. Seeing her hesitate, he whispered, I just want her to stay warm. Don't overthink it. Liu Hoi smiled. The precious girls slept soundly, leaning together. An hour later, the truck finally reached its destination. As darkness fell, the director sent help for the stragglers. Su Chenfei's team had arrived with perfect timing. Dinner was ready as Su Chenfei gently nudged his sleeping grand-aunt awake with a spoonful of rice. Yu Yu woke up too. By the time their meal ended, night had completely swallowed the ancient village. Having missed dinner, Qinta sat in the dark, desperately chanting to his bracelet, Little ghost, come out. This eerie, bizarre behavior sent shivers down his little brother Alo's spine. Al clutched his toy in fear. When the bracelet remained silent, Chinta's expression turned demonic and dark. He cursed the fraudster. Seeing Ao trembling, he snatched the toy away with a menacing, cold glare. You want this? Then you'll do exactly as I say tomorrow, or this toy goes into the trash. Early the next morning, little Mian Mian was awake before the first rooster's crow. Her tiny stomach's protests ended her dreams. She saw Su Chenfei drooling and knew he was useless. Taking charge of her destiny, Mian Mian began preparing her own milk with serious focus. She just needed hot water. Clutching her bottle, she toddled to the crew. "Mister, help make my milk?" Her overwhelming cuteness melted the assistant's heart. He was ready to help when the director's voice intervened. "No milk today, little grandaunt." Mian Mian's innocent eyes filled with pure, heartbreaking confusion. The director explained the trial. Today, every guest must hunt and gather their own precious food. Looking at her bottle with sorrow, Mian Mian offered it to him. "You drink it then," she said. "We can't waste a drop." The director froze. What kind of selfless angel was she? No tears, only wisdom. The director waved his hand, declining the offer, because he was a grown adult. Mian Mian whispered softly, "Can I drink it in secret? It'll be our little hidden promise." Mian Mian just hates waste. "I'm not trying to break the rules, I promise." Suddenly, her stomach gave a thunderous rumble. She looked up with big, pitiful eyes. "Did you hear that? My tummy is begging us not to waste it." This adorable attack nearly broke the director's resolve. With a heavy heart, he resisted her charms and painfully turned down the sweet little girl. Mian Mian sighed, reminding him not to waste it. He promised to give the milk to a child. Patting her hungry belly, the little lady dejectedly walked back to their shared room. Su Chenfo was dreaming. "Grandnephew, wake up!" He opened his eyes to a heart-fluttering sight. He lunged to kiss her cheek, but a tiny hand blocked his path with lightning speed. "Stinky!" she huffed with fierce cuteness. "Go brush your teeth right now!" Soon, they were washed up and heading to the assembly point. They bumped into Chinta right outside. "Brother Tao, good morning," Su Chenfei greeted. Chinta, with dark circles, gave a weary, tired reply. "You look terrible, Brother Tao." Chinta, unaware his dark energy was backfiring, claimed he had slept soundly. He reached down, hoping to pinch Mian Mian's chubby, peach-like cheeks for the cameras. But Mian Mian, sensing his sinister aura, instinctively dodged his touch with a frown. Clueless, Chinta tried acting cute to win fans. "Little grandaunt, why do you dislike me so?" But his voice cracked like a dying duck's. He realized his spirit companion was causing total chaos. Usually, his voice was deep, sultry, and magnetic, even after a long night of drinking. He faked a pained look, coughing. "I must have caught a cold during last night's treacherous walk." Just then, his brother Ao sneezed too. Chinta smirked. "See? My brother has a cold as well." "I'll grab some medicine from the staff," Su Chenfei urged, his eyes clouded with genuine concern. While Chenfei's voice rang out like a clear bell, Jin Tao seethed, cursing him for such a blatant display. Mian Mian watched them depart, her tiny face clouded by a troubled look. Jin Tao deserved his fate, but the innocent Ahao shouldn't suffer. Chenfei noticed her distress and leaned in. Flashing a soft smile at the lens, Mian shook her head. "It's nothing, grandnephew. To the meeting point. Some secrets were best kept hidden." Soon, Director Hu assembled everyone to unveil the day's strict new rules. A fateful card draw would decide their breakfast, with the adults' rock-paper-scissors duel setting the order of destiny. Chenfei's heart plummeted. His reputation for terrible luck in the industry was truly legendary. Desperation led his gaze to Mian Mian. "My little aunt is a prodigy of the mystic arts," he realized. This draw would be child's play for her. With renewed fire, he hoisted her up, shouting, "Let's claim victory!" Fate had other plans. He was dead last. The triumphant grin on Chenfei's face evaporated in an instant. Mian Mian patted his cheek softly. "It is just a game. Do not be discouraged, grandnephew." Guilt gnawed at him, fearing Mian would suffer for his failure. Yet she only beamed. "Your luck is actually superb." The drawing concluded in a heartbeat. For Shui Wei, the mission was simple. Assist Grandma Wang with the poultry. Jin Tao had to coax laughter from a boy named Liang, while Tuki was tasked with harvesting watermelons. While Liu Kai planted corn, Chen Fei's card read, Assist a mother pig in labor. His world crumbled. What mission has dampened your spirit so? Mian asked. Instantly, Chen Fei's legendary resolve flared back to life. We're helping a piglet homecoming, he declared. But don't worry, little ant. You just have to supervise. Meanwhile, toxic commenters were relentless. Isn't Mian Mian supposed to be a master of fate? Where's the prophecy now? How did she miss the pig delivery in her cards? Clutching their task, the duo sought guidance from the locals. Grandma Zhao led the way, but Mian Mian's stomach let out a tiny, hungry growl. With a warm smile, the elder offered a fluffy bun. Mian Mian bowed deeply, her gratitude shining bright. Jin Tao tried his luck too, but the woman's tone turned icy. This is all I have. No extras. She retreated inside, leaving Jin Tao seething with a rage that could grind stone. He threw a venomous glare at Chen Fei. This is all you're doing. You'll pay. Spurned and hungry, he snapped at his brother to move faster. The terrified boy burst into a flood of tears. Jin Tao feigned comfort while viciously pinching the boy's arm. Quiet, he hissed. The child could only nod weakly. Reaching Liang's home, they were met with a warm invitation to share in a humble village breakfast. Jin Tao sneered at the simple congee and pickles, his disgust evident. But then, a strange commotion erupted outside. Outside, Mian Mian was hoisting a massive table with superhuman ease. Chen Fei stood by, cheering his little aunt on. My aunt is a powerhouse, Chen Fei boasted. Mian Mian beamed with pride. Mian Mian is the strongest, he laughed along. She is unmatched under the heavens, Chen Fei proclaimed, leaving a shell-shocked Jin Tao completely speechless. He refused to believe her power. It had to be a trick, a foam table staged by the Su family. Determined to unmask the fraud, he rushed over, feigning a need to adjust the supposedly crooked furniture. He strained until his face turned purple, but the table didn't budge. He nearly snapped his own spine, yet Chen Fei moved it effortlessly. Jin Tao screamed internally. He'd only succeeded in making his rival look like a hero. Desperate for an out, he stammered, An old back injury. Otherwise, I would have tossed it aside easily. Chen Fei offered a pitying smile. A stroke of luck, then, that your task only involves child's play. As Jin Tao left, Grandma Zhao served a steaming chicken noodle soup. The heavenly aroma had them both salivating. Eat up! You'll need plenty of energy for the hard work later. Mian Mian raised her hand eagerly. Okay, Mian Mian wants to see the piglets now. The dynamic duo slurped their noodles with gusto, their eyes lighting up at the incredibly savory flavor. Their first challenge? Guide the mother pig to her new sanctuary using a crisp apple as a lure. Follow me, Mommy Pig, Chen Fei chirped, waving the fruit. But Mian Mian's expression suddenly turned deeply pensive. Mommy's belly was big too. It must have been so hard. Grandma Zhao's heart melted. Mian Mian already understands her mother's pain. Su Chen felt a sharp, heavy chest pang. He feared the mention of her parents would shatter her spirit, wishing to banish their names. But she only gave a bashful smile. I love Mommy. And I love Daddy, too. Daddy worked so hard. I was a fussy baby who kept them awake all night. Mian Mian is a big girl now. I'll work hard to finally wake them up. Su Chen's heart ached with pride. His little grand ancestor had grown into such a selfless soul. Sensing a hidden tragedy, the Zhaos quickly steered the conversation away to spare her more sorrow. Good girl, help the mommy pig now. Mian Mian nodded eagerly, then let out a gasp. Watch out, grandnephew! The pig is eating your hand! The sow munched on his apple. He retreated slowly, luring the beast out as Mian Mian cheered him on with sparkling eyes. The sow sensed her pure heart, grunting softly and nuzzling the girl with deep affection. Inside the pen, the sow prepared for birth. Grandma Zhao tried to move the girl aside, but Mian Mian insisted on staying. This was her mission. She had to be there for her. Failure meant no dinner. Seeing her iron resolve, Grandma Zhao finally let her stay by her side.
Go, Big Pinky! The first baby is coming! Push! Mian Mian commanded in her adorable voice.
As if understanding the order, the sow breathed deep and smoothly delivered the first tiny piglet. Su Chen cut the umbilical cord and wiped the newborn, getting his hands truly dirty. Seeing the idol embrace the filth, haters were silenced, while fans flooded the screen with praise. Suddenly, Qin Tao appeared with a slick smile. Need a hand with the delivery, Chen Fei? Finished already, Brother Tao? Qin Tao wore a fake smile, hunting for the perfect camera angle. My task was easy, but I was worried and came to check on you guys. Su Chen proudly showed the piglet, declining help. A flash of pure irritation crossed Qin Tao's face.
You're quite the expert, Chen Fei. GDK me, where exactly did you learn such special skills?
His poisonous words fueled the anti-fans, who began claiming the entire scene was a scripted stunt. Suddenly, the sow shrieked in terror at Qin Tao. Mian Mian rushed over to comfort her. Thinking he could play the hero, Qin Tao reached out to touch the agitated, frightened animal. But the sow recoiled like she'd seen a ghost, trembling behind Mian Mian in sudden agony. Qin Tao froze, cursing the beast. Why was she friendly to others but terrified of him? The shock triggered a crisis, a difficult labor. The piglet is stuck! They're both in grave danger! Qin Tao tried to intervene for the cameras, but Grandpa Zhao shut him down with a yell.
Stay back! This isn't your task!
Su Chen turned to the old man whose face was grim.
We must calm her first!
Amidst the chaos, Mian Mian pulled a mysterious pill from her pocket. She stepped right up to the laboring sow. Eat this. Qin Tao saw a chance to strike. He lunged, grabbing Mian Mian's tiny wrist. Stop! Don't feed her that random, dangerous poison! You'll kill her! Mian Mian's eyes welled with tears, her little fist clenching in righteous fury. Qin Tao feigned helplessness and let go. Fine. Feed her, if you want to be a killer. Influenced by his lies, Grandma Zhao tried to stop her. But the sow trusted Mian Mian's soul. She ate the pill in one gulp. Moments later, a miracle unfolded before their very eyes. 9 healthy piglets were born in a blur. Qin Tao's face turned a dark shade of envy. You're amazing, Big Pinky! Mian Mian cheered, and the sow grunted back in pure joy. Su Chen went to ask about the pill, but then saw the red mark on Mian's wrist. He knelt, his voice trembling with rage. Who did this? Mian Mian pointed at the villain. He hurt me! Apologize now, or I'll hit back. Su Chen stood, his eyes blazing fire. Apologize. She is our family's treasure. Touch her again and you'll regret ever being born. Rage boiled within Qin Tao. How dare Su Chenfa speak so disrespectfully to him? Mian Mian's voice chirped with adorable fury. Apologize now, or I'll have to punch you. Trapped by the live cameras, Qin Tao hissed a fake apology, claiming he only worried for the show. Mian Mian patted her small hand. Daddy says everyone deserves a second chance after a mistake. Just don't be so rough next time. Qin Tao quickly promised, hiding his cold, resentful eyes. He left with a plastic smile. Hours later, he crept toward the pig pen under night's cover. Big Pinky sensed a sinister presence and retreated nervously into the dark shadows. A wicked grin twisted Qin Tao's face as he poured poison into the feed. Stupid beast. You made me lose face. Now die. Meanwhile, Mian Mian excitedly hurried to see the newborn piglets. The girls ran happily toward the pen, but the sight inside made their blood run cold. Big Pinky lay foaming and purple, letting out agonizing groans. Yu Yu hid behind her mother, trembling. The elders rushed over in despair. Big Pinky was dying, and the vet was 2 hours away. Amidst the chaos, Mian Mian pulled a glowing green pill from her small bag. Grandma Zhao stopped her. Qin Tao feigned concern, while Su Chenfa begged for his grandaunt to try. The old woman refused to budge. This was a matter of life and death for the animal. Qin Tao poured oil on the fire. She's only 3! Who knows what's in that bag? His poisonous words made Grandma Zhao even more suspicious of the mysterious medicine.
Mian Mian insisted the pig was poisoned, but the viewers began attacking her for feeding it random things.
Unable to watch his grandaunt suffer, Su Chenfe stepped forward and took the entire blame. Heartbroken, Mian Mian checked the fortunes again. Everything should have been perfect and normal. Confusion clouded her mind. Was the problem actually her own spiritual luck? To save her reputation, she secretly slipped the pill to the sow when no one was looking. Grandpa Zhao started shouting in shock. But then a miracle happened. Big Pinky suddenly stood up. The sow nuzzled Mian Mian's hand in thanks, begging for her babies. Mian Mian promised they'd be safe. The elders wept with joy, thanking the little girl and apologizing for their cruel doubts. Qintao paled. Did this brat have real powers? Surely she couldn't prove he was the poisoner. As he turned to flee, Big Pinky charged and slammed him flat into the dirt.
Mian Mian was confused.
The sow grunted excitedly and pointed a hoof directly at the shivering Qintao. She says you poisoned her food. You are a very big bad guy. All eyes fell on Qintao. He stayed calm, accusing Mian Mian of framing him out of spite. Su Chenfei stood like a protective shield. I believe her. She would never lie.
Children confuse imagination with reality, Qintao scoffed. Don't ruin my reputation with these lies.
The heated stalemate continued until Liu Hai suggested calling the police to find the truth.
Qintao feigned a clear conscience and agreed. Mian Mian felt sad that the adults still doubted her.
Su Chenfei remained steadfast, certain the police investigation would eventually clear his grandaunt's name. Qintao smirked. To the world, she was just a brat. His fans would surely protect him. Online hate intensified. Despite her own sadness, Mian Mian wiped her tears to comfort a terrified Yu Yu. Yu Yu reached out a tiny hand, gently drying Mian Mian's cheeks with a determined look. I trust you, she whispered. That man is definitely the real monster here.
Mian Mian nodded her head vigorously.
He is a totally big bad guy. Toxic viewers demanded their removal, but the two little girls continued to support each other bravely. To finish them off, Qintao had a maliciously edited clip of the incident posted online. The internet exploded with vitriol. Watching from home, Old Master Su was absolutely livid with rage. Old Mr. Su's heart broke for her precious girl, and she began to cry bitter tears. Luckily, Su Chenjing was already moving. The investigation into Qintao's dark secrets had already begun. Nearby, Qinta smirked, nudging Ao to go stir up some major trouble. Terrified of his brother, Ao reluctantly approached Mian Mian, asking to join the game. Liang offered his building blocks, and Mian Mian's eyes sparkled. Wow, you built Big Yellow.
Yu Yu looked puzzled, wondering how she knew. Mian Mian pointed.
See, this is his head.
She showed the feet and tail. Ling's eyes gleamed. He'd finally found a kindred spirit.
Witnessing this, a wave of pity hit. Mian, do you think this little brother is mute? That's so tragic. Liang's smile vanished, fearing the usual mockery. But she spoke with sincerity.
It's not sad. He just chooses silence. We can still be the best of friends.
Yu Yu understood. Like how Mom calls me her treasure, even when I'm being a brat.
Mian Mian beamed, patting Yu Yu's head.
You're so clever at making connections, Yu Yu.
As they played together, the police arrived. Suddenly, a loud splash echoed through the air.
Everyone turned to see Liang face down in the water. Ao immediately pointed at Mian Mian.
Why did you push him?
Mian Mian gasped, quickly explaining, I didn't. It was Ao.
I was just playing with blocks, Ao lied. Seeing his father, Liang burst into tears.
Who dared bully my son? Liao roared. Qintao smirked, maliciously fueling the rising fire.
To make matters worse, the cameraman insisted he saw Mian Mian push the poor boy.
Suddenly, everyone was blaming her. Su Chenfei scooped her up as her eyes filled with tears.
Through heavy sobs, she explained how Ao framed her before running off with his toy. She was devastated.
Seeing her so broken, Su Chenfei's heart shattered into a million tiny pieces. He gently comforted her. Don't cry, Grand Aunt.
Your seventh grandnephew believes you completely. Before they could react, Qintao declared her guilty, offering fake apologies on Su Chenfei's behalf. This only fueled Liao's rage. Mian Mian sobbed again. It really wasn't me! It was Ao! Desperate to help, she pulled a healing pill from her bag and offered it to Liao. Her kindness was heartbreaking, yet Qintao stepped in to throw more fuel on the fire.
Grandaunt, don't! What if you poison Liang, just like you did to the others?
That was the final straw for Liao, Su Chenfei shot back, defending her with fierce intensity. She's innocent, and we won't be framed. But with the evidence stacked, the police intervened. Suddenly, Liang shouted, "It wasn't me!" Su Chenfe and Mian Mian felt a surge of hope. Finally, the truth! Liang pointed at Qintao. I saw him take our medicine. Though the boy's speech was shaky, the police officer understood the weight of his words. Qintao's heart hammered against his ribs, but he maintained a mask of cold, calm indifference. He accused the boy of lying, blaming Mian Mian's bad influence. Yu Yu stepped forward, looking fierce. Mian Mian would never lie, Qintao sneered, claiming the little girl had been corrupted too. But Lu He was proud of her daughter's courage, telling Qintao to stop his wicked schemes. Children aren't that cruel. Even struggling to speak, Liang stood firmly by Mian Mian's side. Touched by their loyalty, Mian Mian wiped her tears, determined to prove her innocence at last. She leaned into Su Chen's ear. Can I use that method? The one from the party? Su Chenfe's eyes gleamed with anticipation. Yes, you should have used it a long time ago. With a determined nod, Mian Mian traced a mystical talisman in the empty air. Suddenly, the deceitful Qintao found his own tongue betraying him with the absolute truth. I even told the cameraman not to film me taking the pesticide, he gasped in horror. His face turned ghostly pale. Mian Mian didn't let up, pressing him for the real motive. Why hurt Big Pinky? Because that beast wouldn't let me touch it, he barked uncontrollably. The jealousy poured out. He loathed Su Chenfe's immense wealth and his glittering successful career. He'd orchestrated the entire framing just to watch Su Chenfe get canceled by the world. Years ago, that brutal ambush was a calculated trap orchestrated by Qinta to steal his very life and career. Su Chenfe was shattered, unable to grasp how a cherished brotherhood could be nothing more than a hollow, wicked lie. Qinta let out a sharp, mocking sneer, revealing he only played along because the director already chose him. Driven by envy, he used a dark spirit to drain Su Chenfe's luck and fuel his own depraved, secret lifestyle. He funneled his own corruption into Su Chenfe, never expecting his sinister little ghost would finally face a crushing defeat. The digital world erupted in pure chaos as the truth behind the scandal finally came to light. Su Chenfe realized his recent misfortunes were spiritual attacks, likely thwarted by the mysterious power of his young grand aunt. Overwhelmed with relief and gratitude, he scooped up the little girl and planted a joyful kiss on her cheek. While he hailed her as his savior, Qinta's mind completely snapped, consumed by the flames of his own failure. In a crazed confession, he admitted to using his younger brother to frame Mian Mian for a staged accident. Trembling and soaked in tears, little Ao confessed he only obeyed to save his favorite wooden toy from destruction. Rage flared in Qinta's eyes as he lunged, but the law intervened, pinning the villain firmly to the dirt. The officers announced his arrest for poisoning livestock and illegal substance abuse, ending his reign of terror right there. As his rights were read, over 100 million viewers watched the live broadcast in absolute, breathless shock. With his mask torn away, the once rising star was now nothing more than a disgraced, fallen memory. Those who had previously doubted Mian Mian begged for mercy, and the kind-hearted girl offered them her gentle forgiveness. Public opinion shifted instantly as haters transformed into loyal fans, while a shamed Ao departed with his mother. Under the starlight, the director personally visited Su Chenfei to offer a sincere apology for the staff's earlier behavior. Showing his noble character, Su Chenfei harbored no grudges, even thanking the man for the chance to clear his name. The director dropped a heavy hint about a mysterious new arrival, leaving Su Chenfei with a lingering sense of unease. At exactly 5:30 the next morning, a piercing alarm shattered the silence, signaling the start of a new day. Groggy and half awake, the pair sat up as the director's booming voice commanded everyone to rise and shine. Su Chenfei stumbled to the door, only to meet a camera lens, capturing Mian Mian swaying, adorable, in her sleepy haze. The director's voice cut through the air, urging them to hurry before the other children finished their morning routine. Suddenly energized, Mian Mian gave a wide stretch and beamed at the camera with a heart-melting morning greeting. Her eyes sparkled with anticipation for the new task as she rushed to greet her dear friend Yu Yu. The two girls shared a magical moment, realizing they were dressed in matching, adorable duck print outfits for the day. The designs on their shirts reminded them of their feathered friends, the precious chicks, Big Yellow and Little Yellow. Hand in hand, they dashed off to find the birds, though a silent Wang Zi followed closely behind them, like a ghost. Mian Mian welcomed him with open arms, even as Yu Yu noted how quiet and shadow-like the boy had become. Their small parade grew even larger when Chuya suddenly appeared, joining the group with a curious, wide-eyed stare. When asked why everyone was following her, Chuya admitted she couldn't resist seeing the famous little yellow chicks too. With a warm smile, Mian Mian offered her hand, and the group walked together toward their morning of bright adventure. From the back, Wang Zi watched with a pout, feeling the sting of jealousy as another held Mian Mian's hand instead. Suddenly, the director introduced the new guest, and Su Chenfei's heart stopped at the sight of a familiar, haunting face. It was the glamorous Aishwire, standing tall with her daughter Fukichi, radiating a sophisticated and polished celebrity aura. Su Chenfei recalled their past as struggling actors, realizing she was now a titan of the industry with immense power. As the director played for ratings, the other guests immediately scrambled to flatter the high-ranking, beautiful superstar. With a practiced, cold smile, she accepted the praise, before signaling for her daughter to make her formal introduction. Little Fuki bowed with perfect grace, introducing herself to the group while searching for the other young playmates. Aishwire turned her gaze toward Su Chenfei, her voice smooth as silk as she asked about his famous grand aunt. He responded with stiff, professional courtesy, explaining that the little girl was upstairs busy tending to the tiny chicks. Moments later, the children descended the stairs, with Mian Mian carefully cradling her beloved feathered companions in her arms. The two young girls finally met face to face, exchanging sweet smiles as they introduced themselves for the first time. But as Fuki reached out to touch them, the chicks began to tremble with a sudden, bone-chilling sense of dread. Mian Mian's heart plummeted. Eerie shadows of tiny spirits began to swarm around the mysterious girl before her, terrified by the spectral presence. Big Yellow and Little Yellow scurried away to hide from Fukeki. As Mian Mian hesitated, Chuya stepped forward with a piercing gaze. "We need to talk," he insisted firmly. He gently grasped her hand, gathered the chicks, and led her away from the stifling, awkward atmosphere. Outside, he released the chicks. Mian Mian beamed a sweet smile of gratitude, while Chuya gave a short reply. But despite his cool demeanor, the tips of his ears flushed a deep, telltale crimson. Jealous, Yu Yu clung to Mian Mian's other arm, glaring at Chuya before the director announced their next mission. Their task? Scavenge for wild ingredients and firewood to prepare their own mountain feast together. Mian Mian quickly grabbed Su Chenfei's hand, inviting the others, while a neglected Wangza fumed in the shadows. By the time he looked up, they were gone. The harsh realization finally hit. She truly disliked him. Is something wrong? Fukeki's voice cut in, but Wangza gave her nothing but a cold, silent shoulder. He fled to his mother in tears. Fukeki's eyes flashed with a sharp, dangerous coldness. What a brat! It was a vibrant July. Butterflies danced everywhere, but they eluded the girls' grasps at every turn. Yu Yu pouted, wondering why these butterflies were so plain compared to the colorful ones in her books. Mian Mian blinked knowingly. Just wait. When they truly wake up, I'll show you their hidden, vibrant colors. Overjoyed, Yu Yu bragged to a stoic Chuya, who only offered a dry response that fueled her fire. Hissing in annoyance, she hugged Mian Mian's arm even tighter, staking her claim on her precious friend. Suddenly, Yu Yu gasped in delight. "Mian Mian, look! A tiny red flower!" She knelt down to touch it, Mian joined her. That's Little Red. It's also known in the medical world as goat's hoofgrass. It's a powerful herb for cooling the blood and clearing heat. It also treats… what was it? As Mian's memory flickered, Tria's calm voice provided the answer, listing every single medicinal use perfectly. Mian's eyes sparkled. She beamed at him, her heart full of genuine admiration for his vast knowledge. You're incredible, little brother! Her praise made Tuya's face burn as he awkwardly looked away, playing cool. I just read it once, he muttered. Suddenly, Air's group emerged from the brush, smiling with confidence. The mountain is a treasure trove. We've already gathered a bounty of wild greens and fresh mushrooms. Fukeki proudly displayed her basket. Look, uncles and aunties, we found some delicious fresh fernreek for dinner. Su Chenfei inspected it curiously, but Mian's brow furrowed the moment she laid eyes on the greens. Seventh grandnephew, stop, she cried. That's not food. It's a deadly poison that shouldn't be touched. Fukeki merely laughed. Don't be silly. Fernreek is one of the most common vegetables in any village. Mian stood her ground. That's stomium. It mimics fernreek, but it will paralyze your breathing and kill you. It is a lethal toxin. One mistake could be fatal for everyone who eats it today. Fukeki glanced at a trembling Air. It was the stepmother who had actually picked out the vegetables. Air had married for luxury, but she was trapped in a home where the father worshipped his daughter. And Fukeki was no ordinary 5-year-old. She was a master manipulator, hiding behind a sweet princess mask. Behind closed doors, she was a cruel soul who framed her stepmother. Don't say such things, Air whispered. This is definitely fernreek. Mian sighed. If they refused to listen, then destiny must take its course. It was their own karmic burden to bear. Air fell into a guilty silence, unable to meet her gaze. Kiki, don't mind her. She's just a child who doesn't know any better. We won't argue today. Fukeki felt a flicker of doubt, but she wasn't about to let Mian win. She shifted the blame. I trust the greens are safe. After all, you're the one who taught me to find them, Mother. They walked away, a picture-perfect family, while Tria watched them with a knowing, cold gaze of his own. Forget them, Tria whispered. Some people won't believe the wall is there until they crash into it. Mian's eyes brightened. His wisdom hit the mark, and she decided to let their fate unfold naturally. She turned her focus back to Yu, soon discovering a patch of adorable, plump mushrooms in the grass. They're so cute, Yu cheered, but Fukeki suddenly loomed over them again with a chilling piece of advice. One bite and you're dead, she warned. But the men ignored her for Yu. Fuki's face twisted in momentary rage before she forced a sweet smile for the cameras. Trust me, those colorful mushrooms are deadly. But Yu coolly retorted, I only trust myself. She walked away, leaving Fuki behind. Soon, Mian gathered vegetable baskets and asked for meat. Yu's hand shot up, earning a sneer from Aishware. Mian, where would we find meat? Don't toy with adults. Mian looked back with a serious gaze. I am not joking. Rabbit or wild chicken? Mian asked. Rabbit, Yu blurted. Mian smiled. The bunnies will come. Just as she promised, 2 rabbits appeared motionless under a tree, leaving everyone utterly stunned. It was her destiny. Whatever meat she craved, the animals would simply appear before her. Her mother called it a heavenly gift, requiring her to guide their souls toward human rebirth. Mian knelt to thank the rabbit souls, but Fuki's performative sob cut in. Bunnies are so cute. Why did they die? Let's bury them. The souls panicked, rushing to Mian, begging to be eaten. Mian whispered softly, Do not worry. She traced a rebirth talisman in the air, sending their souls toward their next life instantly. Mian told Sucheng to carry the rabbits. Feeling ignored, Fuki looked at Aishware with wounded eyes. Mommy, does Mian hate me? Aishware comforted her with a sharp, calculating gaze. She's just too young to socialize. Fuki wiped her eyes, plotting to lure the other kids. She waved a small stick with paper through the flower bushes, acting for the cameras. Butterflies swarmed the paper. Flashing a pure smile for the cameras,
She skipped toward Mian Mian.
Mian Mian, look, isn't this fun?
Mian Mian just stared back in utter confusion. Complaining 1 minute and befriending the next? How annoying. Mian Mian looked to Su Chen-fe for help. He understood instantly, nodding for her to speak her mind. Mian Mian's eyes sparkled with resolve. Thanks for the gift, but we aren't friends, so I can't accept. Fuki's face crumbled. Aisha Rev rushed to save face before the cameras, but Fuki was far beyond any comfort. Trapped by the lens, she targeted Yu Yu, who instantly grabbed Mian Mian's hand in solidarity.
I won't be your friend either.
Fuki was on the verge of exploding. She tried her charms on Chuya next, but he just flatly stated, I don't like it. Stay away from me, he warned, turning to follow Mian Mian and Yu Yu instead. Let's lure the butterflies. Mian Mian pulled out a special cream and rubbed it into her hair. A heavenly scent filled the air. You smell amazing. Mom and I made this butterfly powder. Butterflies love sweet scents.